Good morning and welcome to all the viewers. Today I am going to describe a poem named The Cold Within, written by James Patrick Kinney. When we think about cold, we are reminded of severe cold that we experience during the month of December and January in North India. But we have different things to protect us from this cold season. But there is another cold within. When there is no warmth of emotion, when there is lack of fellow feeling, lack of brotherhood and sympathy for others, then it is very dangerous for the society. Let us read this poem and see what the poet wants to say on this aspect of cold within. 6 humans trapped by happen chance in bleak and bitter cold. It was a very cold season and there was a lot of snow and it was very difficult to survive in this season because very cold and biting cold was felt by every individual of this area. And in this deadly cold season, 6 men were caught. They were caught in a very difficult situation. And this cold season caught them unaware. They did not know about it. They did not know about its arrival. So we can say they happened to confront severe winter season by chance. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story told. Now, according to the story, we have come to know that each one of the 6 persons had a stick with each one of them. So this was the possession which they had with them. Their dying fire in need of logs. And there was a fire among them and they were standing around that fire. But it was a fire that was getting extinguished. So it needed some logs of wood to burn bright and give them warmth. It demanded fuel in the form of woods to let it warm the 6 of them. But the first one held hers back. But among the 6 people, there was a lady who did not give, or she held her stick tightly in her hand and she did not want to share that wood to put it in the fire so that others may get the warmth of it. For of the faces around the fire, she noticed one was black. When she looked at all the other 5 members, she found that there was a person who was non-white. We can say that he was Negro. And look here, here is a very striking example of color discrimination. This color discrimination has been there in the world since ages, and it is felt by the white that they are superior to the black. So it is a prejudice. The next man looking crossed the way. And then there was a second person who looked around all the other members of that group, saw one knot of his church, and he was able to pinpoint a person who belonged to a different religion and could not bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. So he was not ready to share his log of wood, as that wood could keep the fire burning to impart warmth to a person who did not belong to the same set to which he belonged to. Moreover, he thought that the log of wood is taken from a birch tree, so it is perhaps not so common and ordinary a thing to be wasted in fire to give warmth to others. Here we find that there is a lot of difference and enmity in the name of religion and denominations. The third one sat in tattered clothes, and there was a person wearing torn out clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. He just gave a jerk to his coat and tightened his coat. Should this log be put to use to warm the idle rich? Why should I use my log of wood to give warmth to a rich person who had not done any hard work in his life? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store. And among these 6 people, there was a very rich man. And he was sitting at the back, and he was lost in his thought, and he was thinking about his wealth, property, riches, and other valuable things which he had with him, and how to keep what he had earned from the lazy, shiftless poor. And he was lost in his thought, and he was thinking, how can I keep my wealth safe, which I have earned after laborious efforts of buying, and I have achieved all this wealth from the lazy people who do not do any work at all. He was lost in his thought that I have earned all this wealth because of these lazy, ambitionless, poor people who do not have any keen desire to work hard to get some wealth and to improve their conditions. So here we see the rich person has some misconceptions about the working of the poor and their ambitions. The black man's face bespoke revenge. And when the poet happened to see the face of the Negro, it showed that he had some sense of vengeance, enmity and revenge against the white. As the fire passed from his sight, when he ignored the fire which was getting extinguished in front of him, means he was lost in his vengeance. He was thinking how I should get a revenge from the white. In the meantime, he did not get the vision of the extinguishing fire. And all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. Now, what did he see? He found that he had a stick, a log of wood, and he has a chance to take a revenge from the white. So he thought, let me use this stick against the white to express my hatred, to achieve the revenge. So here we see a grudge of a black against the white, the last man of this forlorn group. And in this lonely group, there was a last man, did not accept for gain. He did nothing in his life which did not bring him profit. We can say, in the other words, he never did anything in his life that would not result in a gain. So he was a person who did everything to get some gain out of it, giving only to those who gave. And he believed in this thought that I will give my things, I will invest my time and wealth and talents with only those who can give me something in return. This was his philosophy, and in this philosophy he believed was how he played the game. And this was his method of playing in the game of life. We lead our life like a game, and we always try to get something out of others during this life. So here we see there is another type of human who was only mingling or interacting or sharing things with others to get a benefit out of it. Their logs held tight in death's still hand. All these 6 people held their log of wood tightly, and there was no motion in their hands, as all of them were no more. The death was caused due to their thoughts, and the log of wood which they wanted to keep with themselves is still motionless, but it is of no use, was a proof of human sin, and it became a proof of their wrongdoing and misdeeds, which proved to be labeled as a sin of all these 6 people. They did not die from cold without. They did not die due to the severe cold winter. They died from the cold within. They died because they were emotionless. They were having prejudice against one another. They did not have any feeling of generosity. They were suffering from selfishness, and they were devoid of kindness and sharing and caring for others. This was the cause of their cold within, which led them to their death. Takeaway tip. It will be very good if we leave our prejudice and stop being unkind, ungenerous, greedy, revengeful, and spiteful. It is not the outer, severe cold weather which is going to kill us, but all these things which can be labeled as cold within is a slow poison killing us slowly by the passage of every second of our life. Let us create warmth in ourselves to keep ourselves and others around us alive and have a blissful life as long as we are there on this earth. Thanks, and have a hopeful and blissful day.